So in today's video, we're gonna go through some questions and some questions within those questions. So the first one I had was which rookies will have the greatest impact on their first year, and my two that I'm gonna choose is Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins. For obvious reasons, Kyler Murray really doesn't have much competition, especially with Cliff Kingsbury coming in as the coach. They kind of, with the new offense that he's gonna be running, bringing from Texas Tech, it's kind of like meant to be. And Dwayne Haskins, I think he has a little more of an uphill battle with his competition. And I don't think he will play week one, but I do think he'll kind of have a similar situation to like maybe Baker Mayfield last year, where he gets in the first few weeks of the season and then they see the impacts that he brings with not only his talent, but just his mindset and like his leadership coming into the Redskins, who have struggled in previous years. The second question I have is, why did Cliff Kingsbury choose Kyler Murray? And I think most people don't realize this, but Cliff Kingsbury, when he was at Texas Tech, recruited Kyler Murray out of high school, so he's known him since he was 15 or 16 years old. So he knows the type of kid he is, the type of parents he has, his upbringing. He understands the way he was brought up, and I think that's very that gives Cliff Kingsbury a sense of security, knowing that he knows who he's drafting, so he doesn't have to worry about the character issues, and he can just look at strictly what he's done on the field. And I think it's pretty evident to everybody that Kyler Murray was the best player in the draft, and it wasn't even close. What he does with his mobility and the way he throws the ball, and maybe in an offense like Cliff Kingsbury that just allows him to do what he does and do what he does well. I think that it's like a perfect match. I kind of went through what the impact he can have on the Cardinals, but I think that he's the type of player that can change a franchise just like that. I think he can make up for a lot with his athletic ability, so their lack of skill on the offensive line, I think that he has the ability to mask problems along the offensive line because of how mobile he is. And I think that with the system that they're running, I think it's going to be a good match, like I said. Another question I had was, how have they been inconsistent at quarterback? Well, they really haven't had a solid quarterback since Carson Palmer, and I want to say he retired maybe like 3 years ago, and that's a long time in football years. If you're not winning for 3 straight years, someone's getting fired. But I think that's a combination of Carson Palmer getting old and retiring, and then it's just hard to find a good quarterback these days. But I think that they have a good one in Kyler Murray. And then I already went through the traits that he has. Something I didn't touch on is his leadership. I think that everyone knows that he works really hard, and that shows a lot to like veterans. Coming into a locker room, you have to work hard. You kind of have to like earn your stripes a bit. But I think that most of the guys will respect him and allow him to lead them. Now switching over to Dwayne Haskins, what can he do for the Redskins? I think that his situation's a little different. Like I said, he has more of an uphill battle competing with a veteran. But I still think it's going to be a similar situation to what Baker had to deal with last year, where he sits behind a veteran for a few weeks. And then whether the guy gets hurt or he's just not winning, then he'll get thrown in there and kind of to see what he can do. And I think that's how a lot of franchise quarterbacks get their opportunities. And he'll get thrown in there. I think that Dwayne is crazy talented. He's not the most mobile guy, but throwing the ball, I think that he's probably a top 5 thrower, just a pure passer in the NFL right now as a rookie. And I think that his coach, Jay Gruden, I think he'll control what he can control and put him into good situations. And I think that he's a fairly vocal guy. And like I said, Dwayne had an interesting situation at Ohio State where he redshirted, and then he sat his redshirt freshman year, he sat his redshirt sophomore year, and he played his redshirt junior year. He threw for like 50 touchdowns, over 5,000 yards, with like less than 10 interceptions, some crazy number. But I think that shows patience, that he's stuck with Ohio State. A lot of these quarterbacks are just transferring, which I'll hit on another video with the whole transfer portal as soon as they're not starting, but he kind of stuck with the program. And I think that shows that he has patience, and he's fought through adversity. So I think that that's going to kind of help him in his journey as well.